Hey, welcome everyone to today's demonstration of the G4 direct-to-garment printer on my left. I'll try not to look at myself in the computer monitor before I see that. And if you didn't tune in for the embroidery machine demonstration this morning, we're basically celebrating Dylan's birthday. So this is a graphic that we did internally this time. Hannah selected a picture of Dylan. He was on a bigger background, and we had him cut out by one of our graphic artists here, and then put it on this 8th birthday T-shirt. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the white version of this, the white T-shirt version, because I realized that I'd never shown you how quick that the G4 prints. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a little bit of a commercial for Coleman and Company and our ColDesi-graphics.com. graphic services program, and then I'm going to walk you through the process of pulling in a graphic into the RIP software. We're going to pre-treat a white shirt, and we're going to print. You're going to see how easy it all is. You're going to ask me any questions you want to. In the meantime, I will answer you, okay? Now, I'm going to walk over to the computer, so bear with me for just a second. Okay, so there are two things that has to happen that I really want to talk to you guys about before we get started. Before you print a shirt, there was a couple in here just today looking at Digital Heat FX and didn't really understand the, where you get the graphics to print your shirt. So it's never a good idea to just pull stuff off of Google. There are ways you can get non-copyrighted stuff from just a Google image search. You hardly ever want to use those. What you need to do first is create or choose a graphic. Excuse me, and then you need to pick the blank that it goes on. What you're going to see us print on, as usual, is this District Perfect Weight T, the DT104. If you've ever gotten a sample from us, you've gotten it specifically on the black shirt, on the black DT104. It is about $4.78 wholesale, depending on how much you buy at once. And it's just a really good quality shirt. The better the quality shirt, the better the print is going to be. Now, ColDesi Graphics is pretty remarkable. It is a graphic service that we developed to do digitizing and to do print graphics. So I'm just going to show you a quick example of the kind of things. So this is kind of a comparison between the emails that probably pop into your email all the time, where I can do digitizing for your embroidery for $8, or I can do graphics for you for $10 an image. You know, there are a lot of services out there that will do substandard work for very little money. That is not ColDesi Graphics. What you get is you get a great quality file. This is their digitized file. And this is the internet-based one. So you can see, you can't even read it in some cases. So they do the same thing for graphics. They'll do from napkin to completed product, and you'll hear more about that if you stick around for our Digital Heat FX webinar later. Hannah, if you'll switch us back to the computer monitor. I'm actually going to start you guys over here. Pardon my need to point the camera at the monitor, but we wanted to make sure you got the best images that we could. I just wanted to show you this from the beginning. I'm going to take this out. Now, whenever you get the G4, you get some kind of a RIP software. You get either the G4 Basic or you get the C7 full version, but either way, what it gives you is just the ability to bring in a shirt, to bring in a graphic, manipulate it a little bit, and then see what it's going to cost you and print. Huge capabilities in here, but that's the basics. So up along the top here, you're going to see I've got these different queues that are all set up. So I can pick whether or not I'm using an M2 or a G4, and whether I want to do a photo or a print graphic. I'm in the graphics queue right now because I kind of like the way that looks with Dylan's birthday picture there. And I'm just going to open up a file just like you would anything. And you see it's going to generate a preview right over here. And it's taking up this whole space because it was designed at an 11 by 11 inch job. What I can do is, actually it's 14 by 14. First thing I'm going to do is resize it. Now, I could just grab it. I could resize it this way, but my eyeballs are not that good. So I'm actually just going to make this about a 10 by 10, which when we surveyed the group in custom apparel startups, that was a really common size, whether or not you're doing DTG or screen printing. And I'm just going to pull it down. And just so you know, if you'll notice, if I scroll here, you see other pages. You can line up as many jobs as you'd like and print with the RIP software to the G4. Now, what I would do normally is I would just print it, but I'm going to go to RIP only here because I want you to see the price. Now, we took this T-shirt image and we imported it into the white graphics queue. You probably can't see this. This is going to cost us 36 cents an ink. Okay, so 36 cents is basically free. When I'm ready to print this, I'm just going to hit the little print button on top and it sends the file over to the G4. And you're going to go over to the G4 with me right now. Have any questions about that RIP software? All right, now the thing about the G4 is that I sent the image over and it's actually sitting in memory. So it's one of the images that's on my control panel. So whenever I'm ready, I can just walk over there and print. I can hit print again, and it'll print again. I'm going to take a white shirt, which since it is a white shirt, is only it's only $2.99 actually for the DT104 in white. Just give you a little bit better view. And I'm using a pre-treat machine. This is called the PTM. And what it does is it sprays a treatment onto the shirt to help the ink adhere a little bit better. And I'm just going to hit the button. And actually, I wonder if I can get in here so you can see what happens inside. Can we do that? Not quite. We're getting a look inside at all? I actually really want you guys to see this now that I'm committed. Okay, so now I'm just going to hit the button. There you go, and that worked remarkably well. That gave us pre-treat on the shirt. So that's all it takes. It'll be the same every time as long as you leave those settings alone. And I'm just going to crank this back up. And the next step after doing the pre-treat is I'm going to take this and I'm going to cure the pre-treat on the heat press. The shirt is a little bit damp, and you want to make sure it's dry when you put it in the printer so the ink can adhere to it properly. Just going to find my sheet. Let's get a new one. This is release paper. It's kind of like a really heavy wax paper, and you use it when you pre-treat so it doesn't wrinkle the shirt. It can handle the moisture, and that's going to take 45 seconds. So there's kind of the 1, 2, 3 of printing any shirt is after you create the graphics, you're going to open it up in the RIP software. You are going to change the size or duplicate it, whatever you want to do inside the RIP, knock out a color. Then you're going to send it to the printer. You're going to pre-treat your shirt. You're going to dry the shirt, and then lay it onto the G4 to print, and then you're going to dry it again. Got 14 seconds here. We're using, by the way, a George Knight DK20A. It's got an auto pop-up. You may already have a heat press, but one of the things that we like about this, you're about to see. Okay, because if you leave the heat press down too long, let's say that you forget it's in there for 45 seconds, you go do something. If it's on there for a minute or 2 minutes, you're going to scorch the shirt, so you'll ruin the shirt. This auto pop is something that we provide pretty much with every direct-to-garment printer. All right, so we've got the shirt. It is ready to go. I'm just going to lay it onto the platen here. Hannah, could you move this up a little bit for me so we can see the platen? Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there are a couple of holes here that it's a sensor that when I cover it, whoops. When I cover it, you should hear the fan go on. And this is the vacuum platen. So when I would lay it over, what it's doing is actually sucking the shirt down onto the platen. All right, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here and we're gonna see if we can see the control panel. I've got a visual image of Dylan's Happy Birthday t-shirt right here in black and in white. I'm printing on a white shirt, so I'm just gonna select it. Select. And I'm actually gonna pull out a timer here because this thing is fast and I'd like everybody to see how fast it prints. You ready? Here we go. Now, if you didn't notice, one thing that it does is it did an auto adjustment. Now, there are a lot of direct-to-garment printers on the market that you actually have a knob underneath the platen that does a manual adjustment. So if you change from two different thicknesses of shirts, then you have to readjust it, right? So that is in there printing. We're at about 23 seconds. Most white shirt prints are going to be about twice the speed of a black shirt print. And this is also about how quiet it is. So if you're using the PTM, the pre-treat machine, and the G4, because the pre-treat machine is self-contained, the G4 does not have any liquid inks. It's all cartridge-based. It's really a perfect combination for a retail setting, for a kiosk, or even because you can store so many prints on the printer itself, even to take to a trade show with stock designs. Now, if you see this is over a minute, I'll say that when most companies, and we're all done, when most companies do this calculation, whoops, that was a minute and about 20 seconds. When most companies do this calculation, they're actually measuring it from when it goes into, when it's already in the printer and starts printing. So you can't ignore load time and unload time, which, should I show you that again? It was on the printer, and then I took it off the printer, and that's all it took because of the vacuum platen. Okay, there's no untucking, there's no hoop to set aside. I'm gonna put this back on here, and this is gonna look amazing. I'm gonna switch over to some parchment paper here, and we're just gonna give it another 45 seconds. So that's really important for you guys to know as well, is the cure time is 45 seconds. On the old model direct-to-garment printers, like an Epson or one of the M2s or some of the other older printers on the market, it's at least a 2-minute cure time and sometimes longer. So think about it, if you're saving a minute and 15 seconds on this shirt, think about if you were doing a run of 50 shirts. You know, that's over an hour's worth of production that you're saving just because of the short cure time. Do we have any questions about the process, Hannah? Okay. And this looks great. All right, and we're all done. I mean, 36 cents. That's how much that costs to print. Okay, and that's a $15 shirt all day long. So the great part about the G4 is that it's a fast print. It's a very clean running machine. There's virtually no maintenance that you have to do. It's got the vacuum platen, which holds the shirt fast and makes it easy to load and unload. And when you pair it with the PTM pre-treat machine and with the DK20 heat press, you've got a system that will be great for any production house or new business. Okay, if you guys don't have any questions, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed Dylan's birthday. We've got 2 more sessions coming up. At 4 o'clock, you can watch us print a sign on a UV printer that invites you into Dylan's yard for his birthday party. And then after that, you'll see the Digital Heat FX 9541 in action, doing a little bit more with promotional products for Dylan's Party 2. So hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, just give us a call or visit dtgprintermachine.com. Thanks.